Hey guys, how are you doing? Colin here, back to show you some more stuff. And boy, I was just noticing, I've had this top hat for a few years. It's just an old cheap, like $5 Halloween prop that I bought. And it's really getting dusty and faded, I just noticed. I might have to upgrade later, but do we want it tilted to look cool? Alright, now we really look cool with our top hat. Anyway, I'm back to show you some more stuff. First off, I'm going with the records, the music. The music. Oh, that looks weird. Too old to be cool, I guess. Anyway, he's got some type of a fancy top hat here. T-Rex. Never had this album. Gatefold. Not really anything in there but the songs. The back of it, the slider, the back of his head. Now that's a cool top hat. I like that one. T-Rex. Here's the Doors, L.A. Woman. I had a really beat up later pressing of this, and this is kind of an upgrade. It has the rounded corners. I think this is only about the second time I've seen this, and it has a 1971, a guy on a cross. It's actually a telephone pole, but they made it look like there's somebody on the cross. Old Jesus there hanging around. Oh no, we don't want to do that. Anyway, Los Bravos, Black is Black, monocopy. Kind of an idea of what this might be. I'm not really sure. I'll find out when I play it. I haven't played it yet. Black is Black, Los Bravos. Bravos. And here I've been hitting the jackpot lately when it comes to finding James Brown. And here's I Got a Feeling. James Brown. James Brown. I already told this story a bunch of times, but I think that's one of the first concerts I ever went to was with my mom. She took me to see James Brown at the Worlds of Fun amusement park in Kansas City. They have a little amphitheater over there, or they used to. I'm not even sure it's even there anymore. It's been so long since I've been to Worlds of Fun. But she took me there back then, and we seen James Brown. It was me and her boyfriend, and I remember we was sort of in the middle, and James Brown came on. He was wearing a turquoise blue jumpsuit. I remember, at least I think it was a jumpsuit, and it had those big collars here, and they had I remember the whole scene where they came out and he bent down. And they put a cape over him like he's the king of soul or whatever, the godfather of soul. My mouth's dry. My day off, I still have a sip on the old suds. But that was one of the more memorable concerts I remember going to when I was a kid. And that's because of my mom got me into music. I have a bunch of her and my family's records. She also took me to see Tina Turner. Not Bob Dylan. She wouldn't take me to Bob Dylan. I think that was the parents' night out. Who else? There's some others. Bob Seger. A bunch of country singers. George Jones. Merle Haggard. Willie Nelson. But anyway, back to the records. Here we have James Brown's Sex Machine, recorded live at home in Augusta, Georgia, with his bad self. This one I haven't listened to yet. Get Gatefold. And here we have James Brown, I Got You, I Feel Good. And wherever this was $7.95 at Rasputin's, whoever that is. Must have been some sort of a store way back in the day. The Dynamics of James Brown. This almost looks too new to be a record from back then. I guess it could be in really good shape. And it's on some thick vinyl Polydor. I can't tell anywhere if it would say reissue or not. But down here it says 1964. Oh, that's a different record. But that's it's in really good shape if it's an original. I haven't really tried to look it up. And here we have Funkadelic Maggot Brain. If you want to get funky, get yourself some Funkadelic. One of the best funk groups, I think, that ever existed. What else? What are we going to show next? I've got a new poster, and I'm not quite sure where to put it yet. I guess you can see that. It's the Subterraneans. Where are we at? Oh, it's the Subterraneans. You know I like movie posters just by looking at these up here. This one's the Subterraneans, and if you know me, I'm a Jack Kerouac fan, and this is supposed to be a movie adapted from one of his books. But I have never seen this movie. I don't know if it's any good or not. It has George Peppard in it. If you remember George Peppard, isn't he the guy from the A-Team in the 80s? But yeah, there's that. I don't really quite know where I'm going to put it yet because I don't have a lot of room. I thought maybe back there. Where am I at? Thought maybe back there on that door, but I think it might be too big to fit over there because I need something back there. It's kind of dull over in that corner. Scary in the shadows there. Oh, let's see. I have a 1964 AMC Rambler that I drive around on my days off to the park and sometimes downtown or just around the campus where I work at. And I found this 1964 Kennedy for United States Senator bumper sticker. And I was going to stick it on my car, just for... It would go with the car. The car's a 64, and I thought, I don't know. I better just put that in the frame. So here's a Kennedy bumper sticker in a It's a Robert F. Kennedy bumper sticker, Committee for U.S. Senator. And that looks in good shape too. So I'm not sure if that's a reprint or an original. But I just like that sticker. I was going to put it on there, but better not if it's real. I don't want to mess it up. Anyway, and I got a few books here. Here we have a little tiny pocket volume of R.L. Stevenson, Will O' the Mill. Whatever that is. The Mill. It was only $5. Let's see what they're going to show in this. It's got some cool little inner thingies, little tissue type stuff that they like to put in these old books. That they really put them up fancy back in the day. This one says copyright 1902 by H.M. Caldwell Company. I'm sorry, this darn thing does not like to focus. But that's that little pocket thingy. Here, this isn't anything special. It's a 1950s book club edition of Sherlock Holmes, and it's a book club edition. But I really like the cover on it. It's kind of sticks out right there, and there's all Sherlock Holmes. And for being a book club edition, it's pretty nice. It was $8. Dr. Watson and so on and so forth. And the last book is I almost didn't get this, but I thought, it looks fun just to have sitting around for somebody to look through or something. The Lone Ranger Desert Storm. Uh-oh. But this is a different Desert Storm, I guess. Just now realized that. And this is from whoever to 1968 to Rose from Grandpa and Grandma. 1968. So somebody gave this to their grandchild back in 1968. And we'll read a little bit of this. Look at those storm clouds, Tonto. The tall masked rider and his Indian friend watched the dark sky uneasily. They did not fear the storm for themselves, but for their friends whom they had left upstream an hour before. Dun dun dun. I have some of these on a reel-to-reel tape. Some of the radio shows, the Lone Ranger, and it's pretty fun to listen to. Here's Tonto. Me hope Tinker Tom and grandson Pete not try to cross river during storm, said Tonto. Water rise heap fast. Heap fast. Tom is pretty careful, the Lone Ranger replied, but he too cast worried glances at the wide river along which they ride. A few miles upstream, Tinker Tom and Pete stood looking at the water that leaped toward the wheels of their wagon. We go pick up silly white man. Boil him in big pot. Eat him like dog. Anyway, that's how you make these stories more fun. You just got to make up stuff in your crazy mind. What else we got? Oh, I got some piggy banks. I don't know how many of you remember Bob's Big Boy, and I think they're still around. I got several of these plastic piggy banks. Here's one from 1971. I put change in them. This one, I believe, is probably 1980s or 90s. Another version of the Bob's Big Boy. I guess about every year they came out with a new version of him or something. And here's one from 1999. I think he's my favorite because this is the one I remember seeing sitting outside of the restaurant. Well, we don't have a Bob's Big Boy in Kansas that I know of. So I must have seen him. We used to live in California and a couple other places when I was a kid. And I remember seeing this statue outside of the Bob's Big Boy hamburger place. And I was real excited. My mom took me there. And one of the things I remember about some of these places is the smells that would be in there. You could smell the grilled hamburger, the French fries, and even like the milkshakes. They all had that milkshake, chocolate shake, vanilla shakes. You could smell that sweetness and the mixed with the hamburger smell. Maybe not grilled. It was probably on a flat top. But you don't get a lot of that anymore from these fast food places. They've just went all... That's just not very good anymore. The only place I can say around here that I still kind of get that smell in the air and the taste is Culver's hamburgers. And they have crinkle cut fries. I'm I'm pulling a free advertisement for Culver's hamburgers. Now there is a place here called Spangles, and they try to have the atmosphere by having a bunch of Elvis posters up, and I think some of them even have a jukebox in there with all 50s and 60s music. Now that place, the atmosphere is similar to a diner, but the food still, it just isn't quite the same as it was like when we were kids and we remember going to the drive-in theaters and drive-in restaurants and things like that. I remember my Aunt LaVon worked at it was called Collins Drive-In, except it was spelled with 2 L's, and the whole place, it was a glass, surrounded by glass windows, and in the back was the awnings with the the drive-in things. Now, they didn't have the speakers and stuff back then. At that place, the waitresses would come out on roller skates and take your order. But my grandma took me to that one, and that's another one where I remember the diner smells and the atmosphere, and you can hear the clinking sounds of. They used real plates and glasses then for your shakes, root beers, and whatever you're gonna get. And that's all I got to say on this video. I didn't want to go on too long, and I hope you enjoyed watching all these antics and seeing all my stuff. Again, until next time, Colin over and out. And weirdos unite. Unite. Unite, damn it! Alright, well, we're sitting in the 64 here. I know it's dark out. But we're going to see if we can go for a little ride, but I'm going to wait till we get to the park because I don't want to be using my phone here trying to film on a public street. So I'll get back to you. I don't know if you can hear it. You can hear the rumble. Be right back. Alright, now we're at the park. Just thought we'd take a little ride around the park here in the 64. My battery on my phone's running low, so I can't use the flash. So I didn't charge it earlier. I just kind of thought we'd go for a little ride around the park once. I know you can't really see the cars since it's night, but I'm giving you a ride in my 1964 Rambler, y'all. I mainly drive it on my days off. It's kind of just a recreational type car. I don't want to drive it all the time because the parts will be really hard to find if anything breaks on it. But it would be fairly cheaper to fix in these cars these days, I think. It's just finding the parts thing would be a hassle. I'd have to probably send off for them from somewhere else, another state. But anyway, we're at the end of this journey, and I'll see you in my next video. Weirdos Unite.